Hi artists, Mrs. Carol here. So this is my demonstration for you if you are deciding to make the artist letter out of cardboard. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you have your design handy and that you double check your dimensions. I originally had mine to be 18 inches high, and that's I thought that was way too big once I actually grabbed the ruler. So I changed it, and I think that 12 inches is probably, a better size for this. And you need a piece of scrap paper. I did give these out for those who came to the art supply pickup day. This is just a piece of kind of junky paper that's kind of big. And this is going to be what I use for my template. So I'm going to measure, first of all, looking at my design, I'm going to measure over 10 inches. I'm going to kind of put my design right there so you can see it. And I'm going to start in about 2 inches just to give myself a little bit of space here. And I'm going to go up to 10 inches. Okay, so the first thing I did was I just kind of figured out like what 10 inches would be. It kind of ends right there. And that's 10 inches. Okay. So the next thing is, how tall is it going to be? And that's going to be 12 inches. So just starting 12 inches from the top of my design, the very, very top to the very, very bottom. Okay. So the next thing I would do is just kind of make sure that's planned properly. So 12 inches actually goes to here. Okay, so I just had to make mine a little bit bigger. This line is kind of a mistake. Okay, so again, this is 12 inches from top to bottom. And then this is 10 inches over. Now, the top of my design says 8 inches, but that's only because there's a cutout. So from this part to this part, it's 2 points. And I'll kind of figure that out and just kind of wing it as I go. That's why we figure this out on scrap paper first. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up 2.5 inches. So you probably need to have your ruler handy. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing from the top and measure down 2.5 inches. If you make a mistake, erasing it is a probably good solution. Just so that you don't see it. So I'm going to measure down 2.5 inches. Okay. So now the next thing is figuring out the space between here and here and here and here. And what I thought I would do was just kind of find the center point. So this part right here is 2.5 inches as well, just to be even. So I just kind of found the center point there, and I wanted that to be 1.5 inches wide. So 1.5 inches would be 0.75 on either side. Okay. And then the next thing is sort of starting to make it look a little bit more designed. So I have a basic E shaped right now. I have my 3 sections of my E, and now I need to make my design, which is a little bit more fancy. So this is where I can be a little bit more creative and sort of decide what I want to do. So I'm going to put my design sort of right here for you guys so you can see it. Now I'm going to work on this part right here. And I think what I'm going to do is just kind of make a little cutout. And I'm not measuring anything, I'm just kind of deciding. Like a little cutout. I think that kind of might look good. I could always make it a little longer if I wanted to. Oops. I think that looks all right. And again, erasing is not bad. It's good to erase. It means you're thinking, it means you're planning, it means you're revising. Revision is a very important part of art making. I'm kind of stepping back and looking at it aesthetically and seeing what I might want to do. And then I'm going to kind of bring this down and bring this up. And I think that actually looks like pretty good. I'm wondering if I made this cutout too deep. So again, just revising, planning, not being afraid to make mistakes, take risks. No one's gonna be mad at you if you mess up and have to do it again. I want you guys to have fun with this project. And if you deviate from your original design, good. That means you're coming up with new ideas and new solutions. I'm okay with that. If you're not sure about something, you could always ask somebody for a second opinion. Okay, so I'm kind of doing this and I'm thinking it's okay. I am not stressing over the middle part yet. That's going to happen later. I'm going to just cut this out and trace it onto my cardboard piece. So the next thing you need is a pair of scissors. I'm actually just going to use my X-Acto blade. You could just use scissors, whatever you have. And I already have my cardboard ready to go. And I have a cutting mat. You guys might not have a cutting mat. You might just need to use an extra piece of cardboard to cut on. And when you're cutting, number one, you want to cut away from your body. You want to, when you're not using it, you want to keep it down, point down. You don't want to hold it upright like this. You could hurt yourself or someone else. And if you're using scissors, I'll show you a way to use the scissors as well. So when you're using this, you cut away from your body. And I like to cut chunks out to get them out of the way. You can also cut for the flat areas, the straight areas, cut against a ruler. And then again, remove the pieces you don't need so it's nice and straight. Okay. And again, using a ruler, turn the paper if you need to cut a different angle. So using the scissors, you just want to kind of be very careful to draw on your line. Not draw on your line, cut on your line that you drew. The sharpest part of your scissors are down here. You want to make sure that your thumb goes in the small hole. The next thing that's kind of important is just cleaning up your work area. You don't want to have junk all over the place. So maybe take a pause, clean up your work area, make sure you're ready to move on, and that you like your design. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this design onto a piece of cardboard. Now, what I need to do first is I don't want to waste any space, right? So I'm going to want to maybe stick this on the bottom so that way I have materials. Make sure it's flush. That means level and even. And that way I have one less thing to cut actually. Then I'm going to tape it down. Now that I traced it completely, I'm going to just take this template off carefully. I might need to use it again. The tape I'm going to just fold on the back. I don't want to rip my template. Okay, and I'll put that aside and I'll just see how it looks. Make sure it looks okay. Perfect any lines that need perfecting. So now I'm going to cut it out. Remember, don't cut with an X-Acto blade directly on a surface that you're going to get in trouble for cutting on. Don't cut on your kitchen table, don't cut on your floor, don't cut on your bed. You really need something to cut on top of to protect the surface. Please ask your families first what is acceptable. If you have an X-Acto blade, you may use it. If you don't, use scissors. And they are acceptable, but you might have to go slower. And just be a little bit more patient. So if you have scissors and not an X-Acto blade, this is a pretty thick, sturdy piece of cardboard. And see, I can still cut it, but I'm taking chunks out slowly at a time. Again, be patient so you don't mess it up and be sloppy. Craftsmanship is important. I'm going to show you both options so that everybody can feel successful with whatever materials they have. I'm going to say though, if you have an X-Acto blade, it is a little easier. I'm going to hold the X-Acto blade down along the edge that I drew, really strong. Keep my fingers away from the knife and press down and do 2, 3, and just to be safe, 4 passes. And then you can cut it out. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then get it out of the way. I'm going to fix this curve up. And you can see that that one I didn't like cut deep enough. So I actually have some extra blades here. When you take the blade off, if you have to change it, be very careful. And this should be thrown in the garbage very carefully. Like, put it in a piece of tape and wrap it up. And make sure that maybe you even triple wrap it. And give it to your family and they can dispose of it so that you don't get cut, you know, when you're taking out the garbage.